voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. All right, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, neither nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. All right. And so the destruction is not happening because all the elect hasn't fully been sealed. All right. And certain other prophecies haven't come to pass yet. Now, one of the biggest prophecies is the RFID chip, which the Bible refers to as the mark of the beast. Okay. So this is Revelations 9 and 13. It says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying, the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loosed the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. All right, because the angels they're stirring up and turning these different leaders against each other. They're the ones that's forcing the leaders to make alliances and certain leaders to break off alliances and so on and so forth. All right. It says, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour. That same hour that we was reading that other scripture in Revelations. Okay. It says, Salaki, and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen, which we read in Joel, well, I should have brought it out then, but it didn't come to mind. Well, I did mention it. It's like it says, were 200,000. All right, and when you do the math, it's 200 million nuclear missile. Now, it ain't going to be the warheads. Within the warheads are cluster bombs. And for each missile, there's at least 100 different cluster bombs. Okay. It says, I heard the number of them. All right. And so, yeah, and that number is 200 million. Okay. And that's, that's how devastating the destruction is going to be. Of course, people ain't going to agree with it, but you don't have to agree with it. Time is the biggest critic. Only time will tell. So if we're full of it, we're just full of it, right? But the government is saying this is treason, and it ain't treason. It ain't fucking treason. All right, because we're prisoners of war still to this day. All right, we're slaves to this system. We're slaves to the establishment. That's why we have social security cards. All right, that's why we have to get a license for everything, because we're fucking slaves, man. All right, emancipation. You got idiots out there talking about emancipating. You were emancipated according to the 14th Amendment. All right, we're only been transferred. We're slaves that were transferred from the physical master to the corporate master. Period. Point blank. And you see that when you look at how the society is made up. We work for the establishment. We have to work and toil for the establishment. Otherwise, we can't do anything. We can't survive. And then you got idiots who say, oh, you can become an entrepreneur. You dumbass, you still got to pay taxes. All right? You're still going to be exploited. You still have to eat what they produce. Okay? So you're not fully free. In no way, shape, form, or fashion. They're still going to persecute you for what you say. You can't, freedom of speech is a lie. All right? They have all these agendas, Agenda 21, all right, Rex 84, where they want to lock people up and put them in internment camps, okay, and take people's freedoms. The NDAA Act, where they can commandeer anything for the military use, okay. These things are set in play, man. Yeah. 2030 agenda. The list goes on, man. The list goes on. And you don't have to do your research, because our greatest critics are the ones that don't do the research. They're just critics. It's just that don't exist. Oh, you're full of it. Well, only time will tell.
Right. But not to take away from what you just said, But going back to the point when you said the angels holding back the wind, from that destruction happening. This is Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. It said there be spirits created for vengeance. when they, which in their fury lay on sore strokes.
And the spirits of the angels, man. Go ahead.
It says lay on sore strokes. In their destruction, they pour out their force.
But by way of what? We're going to see. Because a lot of people, now they're talking about global warming, which is nothing but a farce. It's nothing but a fear-mongering tactic. It's to keep you in fear. Because they're going to bring forth rules and regulations, and you're going to have to follow them. You're going to be like, yeah, because we're doing this for global warming. And really, they want to diminish the amount of resources that you use on a daily basis. They want to bring you down to a 17th century type of way of living, okay? Where you're not burning off fossil fuels, where you're not doing certain things in the earth that's consuming energy and putting forth what they call CO2 in the air, greenhouse gases, or polluting the air. And you trust me, they got laws and stuff on this, on what we're talking about. Go ahead, Salaki.
It says in their destruction they pour out their force to appease the wrath of him that made them.
Which is the Most High. So these angels, these spirits, they pour out forces. All right? And what are those forces? All right? And this cuts this global warming and climate change bullcrap.
Okay. And it said to appease the wrath of him that made them. Like you said, the Most High. Because, just like we was reading in Joel, the Lord is angry, and he's going to judge.
He's going to bring forth that judgment. It's as simple as that. Go ahead.
It says, verse 29, it says, fire.
Fire. So you got forest fires. You got brush fires. You see, California has been hit with all them fires. Those are spirits created for vengeance, okay? And then they always say, we don't know how this happened. Right. They'll give you a scientific explanation, but they'll take the God particle out of it. And as long as you ain't saying it's God that's doing it. So give them a scientific explanation, because they don't want you to fear the Most High. And when you fear the Most High, you call upon a name, you reverence him, and he shoots forth favor.
And they can't control it. It's spontaneous. It says, in hell.
In hell, so the big boulders falling down from the sky about that big, about big as your head. Raining down on your house and coming through your house. That's from the angels, man. Stupid.
And famine.
So if there be droughts, okay, does it say drought?
It say famine.
Okay, well, the famine is part of drought. You can't eat or drink.
Well, look, what is our main source of food? Vegetables.
Agriculture.
Right, agriculture. But if the animals ain't eating, they gon' be worth nothing.
And the Lord said He sent forth the rain. He sent forth rain. So.
And death. All these things were created for vengeance.
All these things were created for vengeance. Why? Because the Most High, at the end of the day, there's no laws above the Most High. So if you break these commandments, it perfectly explained to you in 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, the 19th verse, all the way to like the 23rd or the 24th verse. It explains to you, if you don't follow these set rules and commandments, you're going to basically destroy yourself. And that's what these people are doing. Doing homosexual acts, you're only destroying yourself. Yeah, you living free for a moment and you're doing whatever the hell you want. You're doing without will for a moment. But at the end of the day, you are releasing entities that's going to come and visit you because of what you're doing in the earth. And if you think for a second that whatever you do in the earth, whether it be a homosexual, whether it be transgender, whatever you do in the earth, if you think that it's not going to come and visit you, that vibration, if you think that you don't push out a vibration in the earth, thoughts and all of that, and you think it's not going to come back on you, you're sadly mistaken.
And the scriptures say there's a way with sin right unto a man, but in the end it leads unto his destruction.
Out of ways of death.
It's verse 30. It says, teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents, and the sword. punishing the wicked to their destruction.
Punishing the wicked to their destruction. Now give me 2 Ezra 2 2 Ezra 7 and 19. Oh, so like I think it's more.
Yeah,
just
one more. It says, and they shall rejoice at his command.
I'll get this.
And they shall be ready upon the earth when need is.
See? So they're gonna be ready. So if you think for a second that whatever you thinking doesn't manifest itself somewhere in the universe, you out of your rabbit ass mind. Because it does. The Lord is in fact Sirach 23 and 17. You can finish that if it's more slide.
It says, and when their time comes, they shall not transgress his word.
See, they're not going to transgress. So the Lord has said commandment to put you to death, you're going to be put to death.
Hey.
Okay? And they ain't going, it's not, you're not going to stop the angels. Okay? You don't have the power. We don't have the power to do so. And why? Amos 3 and 6. But 2 Ezra 7 and 19, it says, and he said unto me, there is no judge above the Most High, and none that hath understanding above the highest. Right? So you scientific institutions, all you people that with this wisdom of the world, you have no understanding of the Most High, and your judgment is not above his. Yeah. Why? Because you cannot control death. Okay? You cannot save yourself from death. All right, what you're trying to do with your transhumanism, but that's not gonna go. All right, I'll continue. It says, for there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of the Most High that is set before them. All right, which we know the law, statutes, commandments. You know, no homosexuality for the reasons why, for procreation, and not only that, because it's a lewd act. It's a very perverse act. Okay, it has absolutely nothing to do positively with the creation of the Most High, because you didn't create you yourself. The Most High Yahweh created you. We all belong to the Most High. And you know, people like to say, "Oh, we are one human race," right? Well, that's true in a sense. Okay, but the Most High has chosen and hollowed out people unto Himself. But furthermore, the point is that you don't belong to yourself. You can't just do something in the earth and expect no repercussion. Okay? It says there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of the Most High that is set before them. For the Most High hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. So you're supposed to observe the law, statute, commandment to avoid the punishment, because it's innate. All right, you do something there. For every action, there's a reaction, and in science, they can tell you that. They tell you that everything has a reaction. All right, Slaki, and what they say, chemical reaction. So what you do, your works that you do on the earth, that has a chemical reaction as well. All right, it says. And that a lot of scientists do know that. Those are principles, man. It says, for God hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not. So they don't, man, it's plain as day. People saying that God don't exist, right? It says, and knew not his ways, and that's obvious here in America, this Western civilization, even though its origins is Judeo-Christian, and they're swearing on the Bible, but they're exploiting people, they're defrauding people, all right? They're taking judgment and justice away from the poor, okay? They're setting up laws which basically go after innocent people, or when innocent people are they don't give justice to innocent people. Case in point, with the whole Me Too movement, some woman can say I raped her, and then I can get put in jail, and I'm already a criminal in their eyes. So they'll immediately put me in jail just based off of what some woman said without proof or evidence. Okay? And they want it as such. But the scriptures say, judge not unless you know the whole matter.
That's right.
And said they won't give you what they call due process. They won't allow you to prove your innocence. And that's the type of society that we live in. So you think the Most High, that doesn't go up to the heavens? And the scriptures say, justice faileth in the street. You know, it basically makes the Most High mad because there is no justice in the world. All right? Salakia. It says, nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, Salakia, and spake against him and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said unto the and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. All right? And so you deceiving yourselves when you don't follow these laws.
Right.
So you're doing yourself the disservice, a huge disservice. All right.
What was that inside? You said Sirach?
Yeah.
Sirach 23?
23:17.
This is Sirach
19.
This is Sirach 23:19. Such a man only feared the eyes of men.
See, a lot of you fear the eyes of men, or what men have to say. A lot of you want to be PC. What is it? PC. Politically correct. All right. A lot of you want to be politically correct, but that is the most. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly be, especially when dealing with people on the earth and telling the truth. If you don't tell the truth, man, you know, if you even if you cover up the truth, if you dress up the truth, you're doing nothing more than lying, man. You might as well lie. You want to dress up the truth so you won't hurt people's feelings, and it's not about hurting people's feelings. It is about telling people the truth, man. Period, point blank. Yeah, and the truth hurts. If you drop a T and look at it in reverse, it can hurt. You know, I learned that inside.
Hey, what it's saying? Was Isaiah 58? Cry loud, spare not. You know, hey, spare not. You don't. It's not for your feelings. You know, yeah, it hurt, but at the same time, it's for your own good.
Yeah, that hurt is supposed to be. You know, you're supposed to hurt first. You know, just like humility is before. Humiliation is before humility. And humility comes before exaltation. You know, it's a process. You're supposed to.
You make it. You fall and you make yourself better.
Yeah, it's like working out. You know, you work out, your muscles ache, but then eventually they start to heal.
That's right.
But they don't want that process altogether. They just remove it. It's like,
it's back in verse 19. For such a man feared the eyes of men, and knoweth not his eyes. And knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Right. So you got people out here that only fear the eyes of other men. So they'll dress up what they're saying. They'll do stuff behind closed doors. But you don't know. You don't have an understanding that the Lord's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. What?
So it's like 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men.
So the Lord is watching you.
Yeah.
The eye in the sky. See, Esau, he got his eye in the sky, right? With his technology, his drones. But his technology is inferior to that of the Most High Yahweh and the angels and Yahweh Shai. All right, go ahead.
Considering the most secret part.
The most secret part. So it's nothing you really can hide from the Most High. He sees all things. He sees what's in your mind. What's so trippy, all right? Because he's celestial